Friends, welcome to my workplace at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. Posterior capsular rent occurred in this surgery. Let us see how it happened and how it was managed. This is a routine phacoemulsification of a cataract with grade 3 nuclear sclerosis, and I didn't expect any problem in this case. But man proposes, God disposes. The main incision has been made. This is a side port on the left side of the main incision, and now capsulorhexis is being done with the help of Utrata forceps. There was no problem in this step. Rhexis was adequate and it was fairly round. And now hydrodissection. BSS is passed just under the anterior capsular rim and the fluid wave goes towards the opposite equator. Hydrodissection is done from another point. The nucleus is ballotted, but the hydro is not yet good. The rotation is not satisfactory. So I inject some more fluid over the surface of the cataract, rotate it for some more time. Now 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is injected, and then the tip of the phaco handpiece is introduced into the anterior chamber. The machine being used is Oatley Catarix 3. The tip goes bevel down, some superficial cortical lens matter is removed, and as usual I divide the nucleus into several pieces by direct jaw. And here it is. Bury the tip into the substance of the nucleus, hold the nucleus firmly and chop it. This was easy. Then I chop this heminucleus and this other heminucleus is also chopped into 2 fragments. So the nucleus has been divided into 4 fragments. Each fragment is being emulsified and removed. And now see what happens. At this moment, I noted that there is a small rent, just a flap of the posterior capsule, and I have to take care of it right now. Otherwise the rent may enlarge and I'll have very big problems. So I stop irrigation, ask the assistant to inject visco, and it is done. There is no vitreous prolapse and there is a very small rent. Now how to manage this? Since I can see the rent very well, my plan is to convert it into a small posterior capsular rhexis. a small round posterior capsular rhexis, and then I want to implant an IOL in the back. So I'm trying to convert this small tear into a posterior CCC, and here it is. I could do it. So there is a small posterior rhexis, and now by this time I have got viscoat from Alcon, and I have applied that to plug the posterior rhexis. And now I enlarge the main wound little bit by 0.2 millimeter approximately, and then I implant a monofocal single piece intraocular lens in the capsular bag, and here it goes. The leading haptic has gone into the capsular bag, and the trailing haptic also goes into the capsular bag. Now I have a barrier between the vitreous and the anterior chamber. This IOL will act as beautiful scaffold, and over this scaffold I can very easily emulsify this last nuclear piece. I take a Sinskey hook at this time, and after checking the anterior capsular rim and being sure that the lens is in the bag, I bring the nuclear piece at the center, and then I emulsify this nuclear piece being right at the center at the iris plane, and it is done. The viscoat is still plugging the posterior CCC. This is viscoat again, and now my plan is dry aspiration of this cortex. I don't want to use lot of fluid. I don't want to hydrate the vitreous, though viscoat is acting as a barrier, and it will act as a nice barrier. It will not allow the BSAs to go and mix with the vitreous. Still, I am doing a dry aspiration to make it sure that I don't hydrate the vitreous. And now I made a side port at 7 o'clock, and through that side port I am removing the cortex from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Cortex is nicely cleaned, and now I'm going to remove the visco from anterior chamber as well as from behind the IOL. The bolus of viscoat will come easily. We're going to see that in a moment. Now I go behind the IOL, and as I aspirate, see, this bolus of viscoat comes out. Since this is a combination of sodium hyaluronate and chondroitin sulfate, It remains in a bolus and it comes out easily. And now I am very much relieved because there is no vitreous prolapse. Vitrectomy has not been required. That is a great thing. And now I inject some moxifloxacin and then close the side ports by corneal stromal hydration. This is corneal stroma on either side of the stab wounds, and thus the side ports are hydrated and closed. And now there's some viscoat sticking to the corneal endothelium, and I'm going to remove that at this moment. So flush some BSS towards the cornea, and all this viscoat comes out. And it came out very easily. And now I form the antechamber very nicely. Check the integrity of the wounds all around and conclude the case. This is a very minimally edited video. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in converting a small rent into a posterior CCC, and in some cases you can manage PCR without vitrectomy in this technique.